Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Louise and I am a full-time reseller on eBay and Poshmark. If you haven't already subscribed and you'd like to, please go ahead and do that, and don't forget to hit the bell notifications so that you'll be notified whenever I make a new video. I'm trying an experiment to do a new video every day just to see what happens. I don't know how long it will last, but we're going to give it a go. I've started this intro like 9 times, so I'm gonna not go back and redo the fact that I just made that big loud noise with my coffee. Anyways, I'm here today for a little bit of a story time. I've gotten a bunch of questions about the process of using liquidation to source pallets. We have some pre-existing conditions in our household that make us higher risk. And so we are still avoiding thrift stores, estate sales, all of our normal avenues to source. So I have settled into doing liquidation. And so I thought I would walk through what the normal process is, and also then what my process has been with my most recent pallet. What kind of motivated me to do this video is that my most recent pallet has not worked out the way that others have, or the way that it's supposed to, and so I thought I would do a little chat about what has happened and what I have done and where we're at with that, just so people are aware of the things that can happen when you take the risk of doing inventory or doing liquidation for your inventory. Okay, so here's how it normally goes in my experience. Normally, there are ways that you can buy pallets of liquidation goods at a flat price, but most of them that I have seen are auctions. So how it normally goes is you bid, if you win, you win, and then you, with the source I've been using, have to send a wire transfer from your bank account to the bank account of the company, which kept me away from trying it for quite a while prior to the world changing, because it seemed to me like that was just such a strange thing to do. Turns out it's not that strange, and it's fine. And so if that's been scaring you, don't let it scare you. It's just the way they do business. So. And I'm not going to talk about the source. People don't share that, but really Google's your friend. Just use Google, try to find, dig around. It's not that hard. Okay, so then you have to send a wire transfer. Once that's done, then you kind of wait until distribution is figured out for transport. And so when it's been dispatched, you will get notified by a transportation company about when they're going to deliver it. There often are extra fees for a residential delivery, as well as if you need a lift gate, which, unless you operate out of a warehouse with a receiving dock, you're going to need a lift gate. So that can be quite expensive. And then you wait. And I've had it take days, and I've had it take weeks. It just depends on a lot of different factors, I think. And then you wait, and then it gets delivered, and then you go through it and you process it, and you go through your process to list it. That's how it's supposed to work. It has worked that way for me a few times that I have done it. There are sometimes issues. This most recent pallet I got had a lot of issues. So what happened was I bid on an auction, I won the auction, I sent the money, everything was normal up to that point. And then it got sent to a transport company who contacted me via text message, which had not happened before. I'd heard by phone before. And the text message said, your scheduled delivery is on this date between 8 and 5. And so we worked our day around someone being at the house, because my office space is on the second floor. I can't receive a pallet here, unfortunately. So it has to be received at home and then carted over here, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality. So it was supposed to be here that day. By about 4 o'clock, I hadn't heard anything. And so I kind of assumed that they weren't going to come. At 4:30, they called me and told me they had my freight, and great news, they could schedule my delivery anytime the next week between 1 and 5 p.m., Tuesday through Friday. And I was getting ready to be gone for 4 days, Tuesday through Friday. My family took a little mini vacation. So that wasn't going to work. They couldn't come Monday. They couldn't come that day because, of course, it was the end of the day at that point. And so my only option to get it before that was to go to the transportation company and pick it up in my personal vehicle. And I don't know if you've ever gotten a pallet, but this particular one came in 4 large, like almost refrigerator-sized boxes. So that was interesting to try to pack into my minivan. It was also pouring rain. We did not get to inspect the pallet before it was broken down, because they brought the pallet out to the loading dock and cut the saran wrap off of it and, dropped the boxes there. So I got it home. I started the process of going through it. It was at that point 6 p.m. So I got through probably 2 of those boxes that night and then finished them the next day. There was some good stuff in the pallet, but it was not, I discovered, the pallet I had ordered. So sometimes, depending on where you order a pallet from, there are a lot of similar brands. And so at first it was a little bit hard to determine that wasn't the right pallet. But it became abundantly clear as I dug that I had gotten the wrong pallet, and in fact a pallet that had significantly less value than the one that I had bid on and won. On top of that, I had paid pretty extensive fees to have it delivered in my neighborhood with a lift gate, which I didn't have. So all around, it was kind of a disappointing experience. I did contact the customer support, and through a long and arduous wait, I did get a partial refund in the form of a credit to spend again on my next pallet. I will make money on this pallet, but it's going to be a lot slower going than I had initially hoped with the pallet that I had intended to purchase. And it's not cheap. This pallet was $4,500 before all of the extra fees. So this is not a cheap gamble. And I guess I say that just because I think it's important for people who might be thinking about getting into it to know that it's not always fun and it's not always easy. I will keep doing it. I believe that this company did the best that they could to make kind of a rotten situation tenable for everybody. I do believe it was a mistake. I don't think that it was intentionally underhanded or anything like that. And I do appreciate that they managed it the way that they did. But I think if you order a pallet, make sure you check your invoice before you, and this company only gives you 2 days from when you receive it to be able to file a dispute if you got the wrong thing. So you can't kind of let it sit. You really have to process it fast, at least enough to know whether you got what you had ordered. So I guess that's my little story about that. I will keep ordering from them. I feel confident I will still make money on this pallet, just not what I had hoped to make. Yeah. So I'm curious if you have questions about the process of liquidation. I'm curious if you have purchased pallets, if you've ever had a problem with them. And I'm wondering if you have any other comments. I've really appreciated the subscribers that have come. I've really appreciated the comments. It's super fun to be able to communicate back and forth with people. So go ahead and leave a comment. Leave a comment about your thoughts about whether you've considered liquidation, about whether you have used liquidation and what your experience was. Yeah. So this was just a quick, short little video about my experience. I'm happy to do more videos about the process of liquidation if people are interested. Leave that in the comments as well. Thanks for tuning in again. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I would really appreciate it. Have a great day and happy selling.